Hi, everybody. So, I'm doing a session now. This is for John. This is a soul rebirth journey. So, I'm going to read what John has shared, what his goals are for this work, and then I'm going to get started, okay? So, John is saying that he's looking to clear some past energies that have caused much confusion and trust issues. He's desiring clarity of energy so I can connect fully with my strengths and gifts in alignment to self. So, John, thank you so much for your open-mindedness and willingness to share this experience on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and get started here, okay? So I'm just going to relax. I'm going to connect with your spiritual atmosphere and we'll find out what's going on to make you feel a lot better, all right? So, interesting. So, in the process of entering your spiritual atmosphere, it feels like I'm in the open. I'm in the open. Like that just, I feel like it's just sort of like, it's a nature scene. I can't see the specific details, but I feel like I'm surrounded by nature in what is an open space where I can freely experience nature openly. I feel connected. I feel like I'm at an elevated plateau where I can see at a great distance. I feel freedom. I'm even kind of twirling around in sort of like just a fun moment. I just feel free. I feel connected to open space. It's extremely open space. It's not like there's 10 feet of open space around me. I mean, it's like miles and miles and miles and miles of open space on all sides of me. It's amazing. This is what life is all about. That's what my heart is telling me. That's what your heart is saying. This is what life is all about, this freedom, this openness, this feeling like I'm connected to infinite space. And it's all around me, and I'm sort of in the center of the universe, and the universe is revolving around me, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm in the center of your universe. It's amazing. It's so freeing. It's so peaceful. It's so exciting. It's so wonderful here. I just want to lay down and feel connected to the earth. I mean, I want to feel connected to the planet. That's what your heart is saying. I mean, your heart wants to just feel deeply, deeply rooted, grounded, connected with the planetary energies. And we're not just talking about planetary energies because this is expanded. I mean, this is feeling connected to nature, even in other distant places, like feeling connected to all that is nature, all that is creation. And it's so bright and it's so full of love and wonderment and adoration for creation. And I mean, this is the heart. This is free. This is purifying the senses. This is fresh air. This is clean water. This is what life is all about. It's amazing. It's amazing. Something is feeling not good anymore. It feels like a giant chunk has been taken out of the planet that I am connected with. I mean, this planet is you, though, too. I mean, this universe is you. This is your space. This is your consciousness. This is your joy. It's like a massive chunk. And I mean, like, you know, if you could have like a dirt ball of the planet, let's just say, and it's like a solid piece, and then we just take a giant chunk out of there, and now it's missing a big part of itself. And it feels like you two are missing a big part of yourself. It just feels like it just chunked off of there. It's harder to breathe. I feel kind of... I mean, there's a lot of grief about this. There's a lot of sadness about this. I mean, it's sort of like it feels unnatural. It feels like this is not what life is about. This is not the freeing experience. This is not the universe. This is not the expanded connection with everything. This is kind of like this is just wrong. This hurts me. This takes away my identity. gosh, it's like, it keeps showing me what is like a rounded piece. This is like it's whole, you're whole. This is like an orb, a rounded piece, but it's very earthy feeling. I mean, it's not like an energy orb, it's like an earthy orb. And then it's like kind of made out of rock, and then a giant chunk is now missing, and so you don't feel whole. I mean, that's what this energy says. You don't feel whole. I mean, it's really kind of getting carried away now, because I mean, it's sort of like, let's just kind of destroy the whole thing. I mean, they're showing me what is left. What is left is this sort of piece of the pie, this is what is left. It's like a rock we're just kind of putting, and now we're taking a big hammer and then just crunching it into lots of bits and pieces. It just looks like rocks scattered about. It's interesting because you don't realize how beautiful this actually is. Because when these rocks are scattered about, they can actually be connected to more. It's like you could be one person, or you could take your consciousness and separate it to 20 versions of an identity. And now those 20 versions of yourself can be scattered across the universe, and so you can feel even more infinitely connected. So you're not just one, but you're many. There's something about taking what is this solid whole piece, breaking it into lots of smaller pieces, and then scattering them. It's sort of like the infinite dandelion. When it ages, it's just covered in all these seeds, but those seeds are a reflection of itself, and it lets them go. And so all these parts of itself are free to blow in the breeze and to land wherever they're destined to land, and to manifest more dandelion. So it's like the infinite dandelion. So your soul is like this infinite soul that now it's free to be even more infinite, because it is sacrificing a part of itself, and now sacrificing even more parts of itself, so it can actually be more connected than it was before. So if you would stay in the perception of I am whole, you're actually, it feels freeing, it feels marvelous, it feels totally like this is it, doesn't need to be any more than this, but it's actually an illusion of your soul still wants more expansion. It's so crazy. It's awesome to feel whole, but the only way to truly feel even more whole or more expanded or more infinite was to break you down, and break you apart, and kind of rip you apart in a way. I mean, and now you actually can be even more expanded than you ever were before. So you're actually growing in extraordinary, awesome, amazing ways, and it's a good thing. It's a very good thing that this has happened. It doesn't feel good because the energy bodies are telling me, I get it. I get what you're seeing here, Abby, but this is like, this hurts us. This makes us feel sick. This makes us feel unhappy. This makes us feel like we aren't ourselves anymore, and we don't know how to adjust to this. We were solidly built on this identity of this freeing experience, and now we're having to adjust to something, and it's hard. So I say I get it. I totally get you on this. There's a menace coming towards me here. It's like a super tall, like 100-foot tall giant. It kind of makes me laugh because he's really menacing, but he just makes me laugh. I mean, he's like a menacing force. He swears to God he's a menacing force. Like, everything about him is scary, but he really isn't. He's sort of just like he makes you laugh. He looks like a cartoon. He has a long pointy nose. He has a scribble for an angry mouth. He's got like these little lines, these thick sort of Sharpie marker lines to create like squinty eyes. He's got just like a round head. It's like a greenish colored body, and he's sort of like and he's like letting off all this steam as he pounds towards us, and he's like a menace, right? But I don't know why. It just makes me laugh so much. I just want to help him feel better. He doesn't have to be menacing. he's here. He's right here before me. He's right here before you. I mean, we're here working as one right now, trying to understand the bigger picture of everything. So you're standing before a menace. It's just also another version of your consciousness. The menace sees that we're both laughing and feeling lighthearted and not terrified or concerned. And the menace gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and he feels kind of like, feels stupid. He feels ashamed. He feels embarrassed. And oddly enough, the version of you that's just sort of like you're just a third party observer that's sort of entering into space, like we're all watching this together. I mean, you're kind of being really hard on the menace now. He's really small and scrawny, embarrassed and ashamed, and you're sort of becoming a real pest towards him. It's just, he's crying. He literally is crying. I mean, it's an interesting storyline. He sort of did something stupid at a birthday party, and it was really embarrassing, and now he can't leave the birthday party, and everybody knows he did it, and he's just crying. It's a really embarrassing story. I mean, I don't know where this is coming from, but the menace feels this way, like a little kid that did something, like farted really loud in front of 20 of his 20 of his classmates, and everybody heard him, and everybody laughed and pointed at him, and nobody would play with him at the awesome birthday party because he was the stinky kid, and that is his extreme shame that he is carrying right now. And this other version of you is being mean to him, is being like a bully towards him. Just sort of right now I'm just working on releasing a lot of the shame out of your spiritual atmosphere. I mean, there's something very sad and I'm sort of debilitatingly sad about it. And you're being too hard on yourself. Because you just are. You're being too hard on yourself. This is all your consciousness interacting with your consciousness. And this is how your identities are communicating. And so I'm just continuing to release what is like a lot of the steam that's just been contained inside of the teapot is just releasing out what is really sad and shameful embarrassment. Everybody's starting to relax. You're not being too hard on yourself. What was the menace? I mean, you're not, there's no, everything just starting to feel more peaceful and just sort of like it's all letting go. It's all okay now. It's all just letting go now. There's something really upset. I mean, there's some sort of angry upset. It's an honest anger. It's not like an irate anger that just, it's taking it too far. It's sort of like a really honest anger. It feels like we're sort of choked, being just sort of like in what is like a massive squishy hand, like a stress ball is the way the texture of it is, but it's in the shape of a hand that's fist. It got a big fist, and we are in the inside of the hand that's grabbing us, and it's all black in here, and I feel just sort of in the grip of a stress ball that's gripping me, and it just like, it's very confining. It feels like I really miss being gripped by the stress ball. I miss the open space. I miss the freedom. I miss that. And this reminds me of what I miss. I mean, this is too much. Stress ball is starting to relax its grip. Something, it just feels like some part of you is too hard on yourself. I mean, because now it's like you are kind of gripping yourself a little too hard. And when the stress ball hand, which is part of you, is sort of loosens up, it's like everything inside of you starts to relax and you feel like you're breathing and you're saying, I'm sorry to yourself. It's sort of like you're apologizing to yourself for being too hard on yourself. And things are just really like opening up and relaxing, and there's just a lot of sadness in here. Again, just helping the sadness go. So I mean, it's as sad as my best friend just died, and I'm realizing it's not like I'm in shock. I'm actually aware, and I am feeling sad. I mean, it's like sad like that. And I mean, I feel sad. It's just really sad. So I'm just letting go of a lot of the sadness inside of you, helping to get that out. Part of your consciousness is actually getting sleepy. This is a good thing. So a part of you feels like it's been holding on to something that feels sad. It feels like it's letting go of it to a degree that it just could fall asleep right now. Sometimes we don't realize how much stress we put our body under when we go through things that maybe we would define it as normal life, when really it's a lot bigger than that, and it's weighing us down far more than we would give it credit for, because we're just trying to live our life. Not everything is perfect, we accept that, but something about this is just, it's weighing you down way more than you're going to give it credit for, and this is finally starting to be heard and to have a voice. It looks like this, it sounds like this, it feels sad, and it's finally releasing enough where it just feels like it can rest for a while. So I'm just going to allow that part of your consciousness to rest. And oh man, we're changing gears, we're switching train tracks. Another part of you is saying, me next. I'm going really, so this is really narrow, very narrow. So we have two cliff sides, and they're like, these close together. They're almost touching, but they're not touching. It's really narrow. So we're going really, really fast down what is like an infinite like wall. And they're kind of like cliff sides that are almost touching, but not. And I feel like a tiny little pebble just descending really, really quickly down. Straight in between them. They're not perfectly flat, like they're not perfectly smooth on the sides. They're rough, they're kind of rocky looking ledges, and I'm just continuing to fall, really, really, really fast down. But oddly enough, like the more I adjust to the reality that I'm falling, the more that I can own it and start saying, you know what, if I'm going to be falling, I'm going to just own this fall, and I'm going to actually dive. I'm not gonna be sort of like a clamoring body that's falling. I'm actually gonna have some finesse about it, and I'm gonna have some form, and I'm gonna dive. I'm gonna own this, and if I gotta fall down there, I'm gonna go head first. I'm gonna dive straight down. So it's sort of building confidence of the unknown and going for it without hesitation or fear. Just feel it like, you know what, I'm gonna own this thing. How often as human beings do we go through something in life that feels like we're falling to our death, and we just say, you know what, there's no other way but down, so I might as well just have some finesse about it. I'm going to own this thing. I'm going to go down there. And for some reason, when you choose to own it, when you choose to to say this is me, this is my life, and I'm not gonna flail my arms through this. I'm actually gonna have some finesse about it. There's something about the way that you can change your scenario, or you can manifest a new perspective, when you start to just embrace the experience. Actually embrace the experience, even if it feels like it kind of like it's out of control. You got to embrace it. That's a little that you're embracing it. I'm energetically manifesting the you're embracing it energetic vibration. And your body is kind of trying to absorb that identity, but it's also kind of like not quite doing it yet. So because it likes the idea of owning this fall, but at the same time it just doesn't want to be falling. So it does too. It says it's hesitating, it doesn't know where this fall is going to take it. And without knowing about the future, then the fall seems a little scarier. So if I don't know what the future looks like, then I don't know where this fall is going to take me. So now there's like a resistance. Well, we're humans. We're not supposed to know what the future looks like. And so we're supposed to own these things. We're supposed to be mindless, like, in that way. I don't know the future. So who cares what the future looks like? I live in the now. So right now I'm falling. And whether that fall is going to lead to my ultimate death, or that fall is going to lead me to a secret passageway into another universe, I'm just going to trust in this. I'm just going to trust this. I'm going to trust that my higher self has a plan, and that this is for the greater good of my soul and the expansion of my soul. And I'm going to just trust. So it's not about what the future looks like. It's about what's going on right now, and you trust in the experience of right now. Because right now, this is a good thing that you're falling right now. It's a very, very good thing. I'm pulling out a lot of resistance here on the trust. You're right. Just gotta, I'm stretching it out of you. It's just a really big energy clearing going on here. We're entering into what is an echo of sadness again. It's just this scene about the falling, and all that wisdom is transitioning into something new. Gosh, this is so sad. This doesn't hurt me. This is me just helping this part of you to release this deep grief, this sadness you're hanging on to. So I'm just allowing it to transition out of you, which is out of me as well. So we're just working together here. So just letting the grief go. I mean, this is a deep grief. You may not even be consciously aware of this sadness. It sort of reminds me of, we go through life, and life is just naturally stressful here. So we have an idea of what is way too stressful, or, way not stressful enough that it can't even be real. And a lot of times what is way too stressful, we would define as normal. And so there's something, I don't know what this grief is about, and it might not have anything to do with stress, but there's something like it could go right under your nose that you're too hard on yourself, or you're trying too hard, or you're creating too much, like I can't identify it fully enough yet, but there's something underneath the skin here it's just sad. It just needs to be acknowledged. It's just let it be sad. I mean, let yourself be aware of it. It's okay to say, you know what, my life has been really hard lately, and I do feel kind of sad about it. I'm just trying to be a tough cookie, because what else am I supposed to do? Cry about it? Stay in a sorrowy state? I mean, let's be real, I've got to live my life, so I can't really go there. Well, part of you is saying, I need you to just stop and slow down and just allow yourself to just take a little like a little bit off of the expectations, and just be a little kinder to yourself. But this sorrow could be something even deeper than this. It's not telling me what anything more than it's just allowing me to feel what it feels like. It reminds me of this. I'm basically a man. I'm standing in I've got a black suit on. I'm standing in a black box, like a really large cube that's black. And really awesome polished floor, walls, ceiling. It could be like black marble. Everything is really polished. It's a really massive cube, and I'm just like 1 inch tall in a super big world. That is one massive black cube, but it's not closed in. I'm just sort of at the edge, so you could walk into a box, so there's no top or no lid to it. So I'm just standing at the edge looking into a big black box. And I'm also kind of on the side. I'm like standing at the edge of it. So I'm kind of standing in it. There's a lot of energy release with this one too. This is a very odd energy release feeling. There are quick sort of storylines about falling deep into it, just like drowning, basically. It feels like drowning, and it feels like a death experience, feels like letting go, like the soul actually leaving the body from a traumatizing death. So the soul still feels like it's holding on to the trauma of the experience, that it's not fully free from it because it was traumatizing. It wasn't just like an easy death, it was a hard death. And it's suffocating. I mean, it was like out of breath. Something about this box makes me keep thinking of just I'm suffocating and I'm dying, and now there's this very traumatizing way, and then I'm leaving the body, but I still feel traumatized because it wasn't on my own terms. It was like on somebody else's terms, like I was murdered. It just feels wrong. It feels like wrong on all sides. It's amazing because everything about the scene is so clean. It's so smooth, it's so sharp. It's like a James Bond man standing in a smooth cube with one side missing. It's interesting because how can a cube be on its sides? It's the same size on it, but with one side missing, it feels like it's on its sides. So I turned the cube so the top is open like a grocery bag. But it's a cube, so it's just open on top. So now I'm inside of the black box with no lid on it. This is really upsetting because I have no way out now. Why did you do this to me, Abbey? Why did you change my world? Why did you turn it on its sides like that? The smooth walls, I won't be able to climb out. I have to wait for somebody to rescue me, to get me out of here. Why did you turn my world on its side like that? How dare you? Look what you did to me. There's a funny little opening. It's like a trapdoor on the floor, what is now the floor. It opens, and there's a silly man that is climbing up a ladder and coming up inside of the box. He's got a monocule on. He's got a white mustache. He's got a rounded little hat. He also is wearing a black suit. He bows to you. He says, "Good day, sir. How may I help you? How may I be of assistance?" Okay. There's a menacing, angry part of the James Bond version of you. Is just really irritated that this quirky guy just came up through a trapdoor in his moment. And you are taking a lot of anger out on yourself for no reason. Like, this is actually a good thing happening here. It's an opportunity. So I'm going to let you go for it. I mean, you literally are taking this white mustached man by the neck, strangling him. You pick him up off his feet, so he's now suspended in the air, being strangled by you. You say, "This is my box. I am in control of my box." The man says, "I simply thought you wanted help. You felt like you were going to be stuck in here. I just came here so I could help you. Why are you hurting me? I don't need your help." It's something about weakness. He feels like this man is a reflection of weakness, but the weakness inside of himself to be able to solve all of his own problems. He doesn't want somebody just stepping in and showing him the way could be easy. He feels like he needs to figure all this stuff out for himself, and he wants it to go the hard way. I tell him, I say, "Okay," I snap my fingers and the old man vanishes, the trapdoor and the ladder vanish, and I vanish as well. So I leave you in a black box, the lid open, to figure out how to get yourself out of this. You're festering on the inside. You're angry. There's no solution or way out. I mean, there's like a heartburn. There's like a burning, acid refluxing type of sensation in the digestive. Like, it's emotional reactions, They get our guts turning. I get our stomachs turning. They do all kinds of stuff. So this is kind of like a burning, like acid feeling in the guts. But it also feels like it's in the heart too. But it's emotional reaction. I'm just simply watching and observing. I mean, that conscious really said, "I want to figure this out for myself, so I have to honor that. I can't just do everything if you don't want me to." You're a really smart man. I mean, once you get the anger out, you actually start to think clearly, and you look at your situation. You think about the man and how there was a secret trap door. You actually go looking for it, but it's invisible now to you. You can't see it because you're not meant to get out that way. You said no to that opportunity, and now you have to get out the hard way, so you have to come up with another solution. You look at the clothes that you're wearing. You check your pockets to see if there's anything you brought with you. There's a very kind and loving, what is like a male spirit guide type energy that is smiling down and radiating light, and he is reminding you of who you are. He says, "It's not what you carry in your pockets, it's what you carry inside your heart." He says, "Look inside your heart for a solution on how to get out of here." He actually takes his hands like this, and then he bows before you in honor and reverence of your choice, that you want to be challenged. He finds that to be a beautiful and revering soul choice. And he kind of disappears into like the energy cloud. As I see you now, you sensed it, you felt it, and you're exploring your heart. Man, there's a lot inside your heart. There's a lot going on inside your heart. I mean, you want to talk about like Santa Claus has a massive bag full of toys. Like, your heart is like a massive bag full of stuff inside of it. I mean, oh my gosh. It's like, where do you even begin to start on this thing? And there's always some personal frustrations. You decide to lay down and take a nap. You're going to sleep it off for now. You're just going to sleep for a little bit. It's terrible, John, because it feels like as you're sleeping, I experience what is time passing, and it feels like a freaking eternity. I mean, it's like being trapped inside and we're not talking a prison, it's like a mental ward. Because can you imagine like the mental insanity and the reality that you are trapped in a body in this experience, and there's no way out until you die, and you can't die because you're in a mental ward and they won't kill you. And I mean, it's like terrible. It's a terrible, terrible echoing nightmare. I mean, it is so horrible, and it creates a lot of anger because we're talking about a reality that is controlling you instead of you controlling it. So it feels out of your hands, but it's part of the process. It's part of the process of being a whole sphere that just got bashed, and now it's the only way to truly expand your soul. So it feels uncomfortable in the process. You're hearing me in your dreams as you're sleeping, and you hate me talking to you about this. This is just one part of your consciousness that we're trying to wiggle this, all of this energy combustion, and just wiggle that, massage that, and help that come to peace with itself, so you too can come to peace with yourself and your life experience and what this is right now. Man, but it is jarring. I mean, it is creating like a massive, it's hard to break through this. Feels like a very long time. It feels like you kind of were tossed out, like you know, that lock the door and throw the key away. That feels like what happened to you. Feels like you're forgotten about. Feels like you've been left behind. I mean, this is like echoes from past lifetimes and stuff like that. I mean, it feels like you were forgotten about. Feels like you're trapped with no way out. Your clothes are looking more and more tattered. You're leaning up against the wall of this black box. You have no way out. You're crying into your hands. You're frustrated and mad at yourself. You're mad at the situation. You're mad at this reality. It's not fair. I'm not allowed to bring back the possibility of escape, so to speak. You wanted it the hard way, so here's the hard way for you. The man who sort of bows before you is remind you again of the power you have inside your heart. It's not what you have in your pockets, it's what you have inside your heart are where the answers lie. Gosh. And then I open the bag of your heart, and it's like a bunch of rusty nails and broken chairs, and like it's just random stuff. It's so much stuff in here. It's not even like a furnished house or a beautiful beach paradise with gorgeous flowers, it's not like full of beautiful scenes like where we've started. It's full of like rusty nails and things that hurt. Like broken chairs that are splintered. Like one is a little kid's rocking chair that's like broken and useless and makes a kid cry. It's like stuff like this. It's just junk, like broken things, things that are splintered, things that will hurt, things that will give you tetanus, things, terrible. It's like all these owies inside your heart, and a bag full of like Santa's gift bag full of owies is your heart. It's like, what do I do here with this heart of yours? Where are the answers in all of this hurts? Well, you got to start working on healing these hurts. You got to take them out one at a time. I'm actually going to take out one of your hurts, okay? So we're taking out a rusty nail, all right? And there's probably like 8 or 9 rusty nails sort of all hanging out together. So I'm taking one of them out, and now I feel like, you know what, I'm just going to take all of the rusty nails out. We're just organizing it. So anything that's a rusty nail, we're just going to take that out. And then it's just like, oh my God, the rusty nails too. In the process of taking them out, they're really, they like my hand, and they want to rusty nail my hand, and it's like it really hurts, and you know it's got a mind of its own. The pain has a mind of its own. So I just, you know, now it's like I've got rusty nails wanting to stick inside my hand. So give me a minute here to work this out. There's a doll with a broken eye. She's dirty. This is sad. This is very, very sad. Because there's something, she was like abused. I mean, like sexually abused. There's something, I know we're looking at a doll with one eye missing, but she has an energy consciousness, and the consciousness says I was sexually abused. She's another broken item I'm taking out of the bag. Is setting it down next to a bunch of rusty nails. There's a toy gun, but oops, it had a real bullet in it, and then I just killed somebody I loved. I mean, that it's extreme. That's really traumatizing, extreme owies inside your heart. Like, why is this here? Literally, they want me to say it again. I'm a kid. I thought it was a toy, and then I pulled the trigger, and I just killed somebody I loved. So we put what is looks like a toy gun, and we put it next to this doll. We just have a row of owies. There's more inside of here. What else is in here? Starting to feel better. Man, it was just way too serious. It was just way too serious. Feel a lot lighter without those extreme. I mean, those hurts each weigh like 10,000 tons. I mean, they're really heavy and extremely painful, and they weigh the soul down, and they make you feel embarrassed, ashamed, like a terrible, 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 terrible person. And again, you need to not be so hard on yourself. What do you tell a kid? Like, I know this is a storyline. This is a storyline for a reason. So we're going to ask the question, what would you tell a kid that accidentally killed their parents thinking it was a toy gun? Are they a ruthless murderer, or was it an accident? Well, they killed one of their family members. Well, again, it was an accident. So how hard can we be on that kid? Should we destroy their life? They're already destroyed by the reality that the toy gun just killed their parents. I think that they're dealing with enough. So you can see this storyline is asking you again to really be kinder to yourself, and really acknowledge that we all make mistakes, accidents happen, and give yourself a hug. Don't be too hard on yourself, okay? Don't beat yourself up. This doll is like she's beating herself up because she's the victim, but for some reason it's her fault. She is the reason for her own nightmare. And it's like wait a second, you're not the one that abused yourself. Somebody else abused you. You're not the problem. You're just a sort of an innocent person, and then an event happened, and now it is experienced and endured, but you need to be kinder to yourself. You need to love yourself, and you need to know that it wasn't your fault. I mean, this doll carries extreme self-suffering and shame. And I mean, it's really, really painful stuff. Okay, the nails are not a pretty picture here. I mean, we have a man in a chair. We've got nails sticking straight up on a table, and then a man bashing this guy's face into the nails so the nails poke into his eyes and his face. It's horrendous to look at. It's awful. I can feel what is injecting objects into my face. I mean, it's relentless. It is bash, 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 head into nails over and 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 over again forever. It never stops. I mean, and then what is a ruthless nightmare consciousness like lifts the table up, throws the table, takes this man, chokes him out, and then bashes his head against the ground. Breaks the chair. He wants to just rip this to shreds, rip this body, rip this man, rip this part of himself. He is ripping into this part of himself just relentlessly. Taking this man's heart now and squeezing it. The worst part of all is the reality that this man won't die and the attacker too can't ever stop. I mean, it's just like no matter how hard he hurts this man, the man will never die, and the man is also him. He can't make the torture, the terror, the pain, the suffering to go away. And because it's out of his control, it's now controlling him. He feels like it's just way too extreme. I mean, he is reacting in this way as his natural survival response. But it's the anger, it's it's everything. There's so much anger. You have a part of your conscious that is way too hard on yourself. Oh, this is just a reality of what I'm experiencing. Something's breaking down. Something is definitely breaking down now. Basically, this is very strange. I'm sort of looking at these really extreme scenes. And we sort of went back to what is like the James Bond man. And some sort of massive wooden thing grew up and out of the ground and is breaking apart. And it's connected to everything. And I feel everything is breaking down. It really doesn't relate to, it's like the bag of nails is turning into marbles, and things are just, it's sort of like changing its reflection or its identity. The marbles just want to have a home. The doll just wants to be loved. Some very heavy energy is just clearing out of there. The gun wants to shed tears and know that it can be forgiven. Is it okay? Can we forgive? Give an action of violence that was innocent. I mean, this is a really serious storyline in your spiritual atmosphere. And it's a real thing. It's all about forgiveness. Forgiving the self of everything. And bringing peace and love into yourself. Not holding on to shame, embarrassment, and just self-destruction, like self-punishment. And just letting go of that. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is the energy. Just forgive yourself. There's a really kind man. It's like a godlike energy, sort of walking towards you from afar. You're sort of a pile of rubble, or a pile of mess. He sort of winks at me, and in the wink there is a memory about Superman and the coal, and he really tightly presses on it, and with a lot of heat and pressure it turns into a diamond. He shows me under the rubble as a new man. Pressed under heat and pressure, you transform into a new man, into a diamond, a new glorious version of yourself. He's really proud of you. Everybody cries when life is hard. Even really tough people will cry on the inside. Doesn't matter who you are, it's hard. Now, be at peace with that, the transformation. Be at peace with what is the gift of the only way to truly rebirth or transform or expand your soul, to ascend your soul, so to speak, is this way. For a moment, he tries to throw a really hard punch at your face, but then it stops. He says, I'm not going to beat you up over everything. I'm going to give you a hug. Give yourself more hugs. Some sort of odd purple energy that's leaving the lower half of your body. It's like a black purple, purpley black color. I mean, there's something he really wants you to feel, the love inside your heart. And you need to feel it inside your heart, but in all the parts of you. I mean, in all the parts of you. Okay, this is a scene. He is taking a gun out of your sexual body and pointing the trigger. There's a transitioning into a violent scene. I mean, what is a man that is trying to kill another man who's trying to kill him in order to save his own life? And I mean, they're going to fight to the death, whoever dies first. And they are doing extreme things. Like, I don't understand what it is about the sexual body, but they're, kicking each other in the groin, like to really weaken the defenses. Gosh, the anger. I mean, they are literally, I can feel the violence inside of them. I can feel their strength, their inner strength to destroy each other. I can feel the one picking the other one up and throwing him against the wall, the other one sort of coughing and standing up and grab the other man by the legs and pull him down, trying to beat his head in the ground. I mean, it is extreme violence, and they're using all their strength in order to kill. One or the other will die. But again, we're just looking at a scene that lasts for all eternity, and the fighting never goes away. The violence never goes away, and nobody ever dies. says, make peace with yourself. He says, that is the key. You have to make peace with yourself. He is showing me the two men are standing up now. They're doing the unthinkable, the impossible. They're standing before each other, opening their hearts and prepared to make peace. This is ridiculously hard because there's so much anger and so much upset and so much that's like unforgivable energy. The whole scene, the whole consciousness starts to just relax to such a degree it's basically falling asleep. It's finally being laid to rest. Everything is starting to go to sleep. You gotta start putting love into your heart. Gotta be gentler with yourself. Don't try too hard. Just whatever your normal is, just take it back a notch and put it in vacation mode. Just like less demanding. Somehow there's gotta be a way to relax, to just slow down a little bit more. I mean, everything in your consciousness is falling asleep. I'm actually going to just stop for a minute and relax. I'm going to disconnect from your spiritual atmosphere for just a minute, and then I'm going to jump back in and see what it looks like, okay? One thing's for sure, that awesome beginning, that's part of the bigger picture, but there's a reason why it's being broken down. There's a reason why it's being transformed into this, because it's part of a growth and development and expansion of your soul, so you truly can become like an exquisite diamond. So it feels hard. It's creating all these reactions, but it doesn't. You can get ahead of it. You can get in control of it. You can have finesse through this by slowing down. And by allowing yourself to be at peace, forgive yourself or forgive the experience. Just find ways to slow it down. But there's something about the energy of forgiveness. There's something about the energy of even shame and embarrassment. So forgive yourself for being ashamed or embarrassed or whatever might have manifested that. All this kit and caboodle is all intermixed together. So I'm just going to relax. I'm just going to take a minute here and clear my mind and everything and then jump back in. Your consciousness is in a sleep state. So I basically am walking in and you're just in a really cozy bed and you're resting. So your body consciousness, all your energy bodies are processing this soul rebirth journey, and that this does happen. So you're probably going to feel sleepier than usual, because when I do big jobs like this, it's like if you go to a buffet and you eat a lot of food, your body has to process all that food, so it gets really tired, and now you gotta sleep. So when you get the energy buffet, there's a lot of energy to process, and your body's going to need to rest more. So your consciousness has already received all the food it can possibly take, and now it's resting, and your body is going to start reorganizing its energy structure and identity so that you can feel like you're crossing the line into new things. More empowered, more stronger version of yourself, more collected, more organized, with more wisdom in order to get to the next thing. So Thank you so much for this experience, John. I really, really appreciate it. I'm glad that you came to me, and it means a lot to have an opportunity to help you in your life. So thank you so much. And you're awesome for your open mindedness to share openly so other people can learn about spiritual healing and what the energy consciousness looks like and what I see through my psychic sessions. And so thank you so much. And for those of you watching, if you're interested in a soul rebirth journey, it's 60 minutes. It's very intensive energy work. It's going to be me walking into your spiritual atmosphere and getting to know all of your energy consciousness related to a specific topic, or kind of keep it open. That I'll be releasing a lot of old energies and helping you to feel lighter, helping to clear out a lot of old negative stuff in your spiritual atmosphere. I don't know what it could be, but it's like the sky's the limit when it comes to soul rebirth journey. We could do anything. So if you're interested, please visit me at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. So thank you all for watching. Thank you again, John, and I wish you all a wonderful day.